Also, Complex has put out their 10 most influential women in sports. And Angel Reese is not going to like this because, well, she got beaten by Caitlin Clark for number one.
Caitlin Clark has done it once more. As if shattering records on the court wasn't impressive enough, she's just claimed another huge victory without even putting on her sneakers. Complex has officially named her the most influential female athlete, solidifying her as the top figure in sports at the moment. And guess who she edged out? Angel Reese, who unsurprisingly isn't taking it well.
It's been hard for me, but adjusting and just kind of have that mindset of like just moving on has been something I try to give myself a little bit of grace.
Exactly. While Clark is out here collecting awards, elevating the game, and rewriting history, Reese is busy scrambling for excuses, pretending like this honor doesn't matter. But let's be honest, if she had won, we'd never hear the end of it. Instead of acknowledging someone else's success, Reese is doing what she does best, downplaying Clark's achievements while seemingly spending more time on TikTok than in the gym.
Announcing the top 10 most influential athletes right now. These athletes are reshaping culture. Caitlin Clark, check. Breaking records. Caitlin Clark, check. Proving their impact goes far beyond the game, from sold-out arenas to game-changing moves in business and fashion. These women are leading the way. If this is a top 10 list, then sitting on the top of that list, there's only one right answer. There's only one correct choice.
And let's make one thing clear. This isn't just about an award, it's about who the fans genuinely care about. One player has people watching for her incredible skills, while the other is more known for making headlines for everything besides basketball. One side may see this as a rivalry, but let's be real, it's hardly a competition when only one player is consistently winning.
What is your stance on that?
So my whole thing was like, when I got drafted, number 7. So I'm like, cool, like the pressure is not even on me because I'm drafted 7, so the pressure shouldn't be up there. So I'm like, all right, cool, I can just hoop. So I'm like, all right, cool.
It's because you started killing it.
Well, yeah.
And they're like, oh.
I'm still a rookie. I'm still figuring it out. Trying to figure.
Now, let's break it all down. Why did Clark walk away with this award? What makes her influence so undeniable? And most importantly, why is Angel Reese acting like she just got snubbed? We're about to dive deep into the numbers, the impact, and the amusing aftermath. Let's get into it.
And Angel Reese is not going to like this because, well, she got beaten by Caitlin Clark for number one. Yeah, so we're going to take a look at that. I think it's hilarious. I will tell you right off the bat, I don't believe there's a singular world, where Angel Reese should be ahead of Simone Biles either. There, I put that.
Caitlin Clark didn't just break records, she obliterated them. 62 records smashed in a single season. Let that sink in. This isn't just about making history. It's about rewriting the entire record book. No player in WNBA history has ever dominated like this, and we're only in year 1.
My expectation is to be one of the best players in the world one day. I wouldn't expect anything less than that.
More history for the FIBA rookie.
At this point, continue to be myself, and I think a lot of good will come from that.
But here's where it gets even more unreal. Clark didn't just put up insane stats, she shifted the entire trajectory of a franchise. Before her arrival, the Indiana Fever were languishing at the bottom of the league, struggling for relevance. Then Caitlin Clark came along and boom, they made the playoffs for the first time in almost a decade. That's not just individual brilliance, that's franchise-altering dominance.
A woman who's been putting women's basketball on her back for the better part of 3 years now. These athletes are reshaping culture. Caitlin Clark has men watching women's basketball.
And let's not forget the off-court impact, because this is where Clark truly distances herself from her so-called rivals. WNBA merchandise sales skyrocketed by 500% during her rookie season. That's not a typo. The league's merch demand quintupled the moment she stepped on the court. Jerseys, t-shirts, memorabilia. It was all flying off the shelves at a pace the WNBA had never experienced before. And we all know whose jerseys weren't selling out. Yep, Angel Reese's jerseys were just sitting there gathering dust while Clark's were gone within minutes.
This is a phenomenon. Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon.
But this isn't just about jersey sales. Clark's influence is transforming the entire league's economy. Viewership is at an all-time high, and arenas that once struggled to sell tickets are now packed to capacity, but only when Clark is in town. Teams that used to beg for fans to show up are now rushing to expand their seating just to accommodate the overwhelming demand.
So that's what they got on her. Caitlin Clark, she ran away with number one. I don't think that should surprise us. She came away with number one. Caitlin Clark is redefining the entire landscape of women's sports. That's right. Her dominance on the court has shattered outdated narratives about women's sports, proving that women's basketball can be just as marketable and widely watched as men's. But the Caitlin Clark effect goes far beyond her performance. It's reshaping the entire sports landscape. Clark's impact is undeniable. Her presence alone boosts the WNBA attendance by 105%.
Even sports economists are blown away by Clark's impact. Thayer Lavielle, one of the top names in sports business, called Clark a lightning rod for women's basketball, comparing her to Michael Jordan in terms of how she's elevating the game's visibility and value. And honestly, she's right.
Because when we went to the WNBA games and we went to go watch Caitlin Clark when they came to play the Washington Mystics in DC, and they shut that they had to move the game from the Washington Mystics WNBA arena to the actual Washington arena where the Wizards played, and it was packed. It was sold out for people to see Caitlin Clark. That did not happen the day before that when they...
Even sports economists are astonished by Clark's impact. Thayer Lavielle, one of the top figures in sports business, called Clark a lightning rod for women's basketball, even comparing her to Michael Jordan in terms of how she's boosting the game's visibility and value. And honestly, she's spot on.
Michael Jordan of her sport as far as athleticism, playing, dominating. But A'ja Wilson is the best player in the game. Not even a debate. But I'm talking about value now. Value to a franchise, value to a league, getting your team in the playoffs. They had the number one pick. They were the worst team last year. And there is value that I can attach to that.
So what does all of this mean? Caitlin Clark isn't just a superstar. She's a movement. She's doing more than dominating on the court. She's reshaping an entire league's future. She's drawing in new fans, creating massive revenue, and making women's basketball must-watch television.
I'm talking about value. Michael Jordan was the most valuable player every single year because of what he meant to his team and what he meant to the league. And, oh, by the way, winning 6 titles. Can't argue with that. Caitlin Clark may not win titles. Las Vegas is still a great team. But the fact that she is doing what she's doing and at a very high level, you know, it's now commonplace where she'll go for 26 and 12. I mean, those are great numbers for any player, no matter how long you've been in the league.
Meanwhile, Angel Reese is sitting there still trying to figure out why she wasn't the one named most influential. Maybe if she spent more time working on her game and less time complaining on social media, she'd understand.
This is about sports. This is about athletic ability. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at Caitlin Clark's game, who's very reminiscent of a Steph Curry based on her range and shooting the three, plus everything else she does. And then you look at Angel Reese, stop it. Stop it. There's a dude on the internet who cracks me up. On TikTok. He's put together a shitload of Angel Reese clips. And it'll say Angel Reese part 36. And it goes, Angel Reese going up for another layup. She misses. Bang! And I mean, dude, it's the funniest shit. And my whole thing is this, dude. She just seems as uncoordinated as a baby.
Let's talk hard numbers. In her rookie season alone, Clark generated a staggering $36 million for Indianapolis. One player did that. And this is just the start. Experts are predicting that Clark's ascent will boost women's basketball's overall value by $1.6 billion in the next 3 years. Yes, billion with a B.
Is better than Caitlin Clark, is saying Rodman was better than Michael Jordan, or Ben Wallace was better than Kobe, or even Andre Drummond was better than LeBron. And I shouldn't have to point out that Angel Reese is actually a poor defender.
So what does all of this mean? Caitlin Clark isn't just a superstar, she's a movement. She's doing more than dominating on the court. She's reshaping the entire league's future. She's bringing in new fans, generating massive revenue, and turning women's basketball into must-watch television.
3 on 3, part 13, let's get it! Classic long two. Bang! PSA, no rims or backboards were harmed during the filming of this video. But viewers are encouraged to look away. Bang! What? Bang! I heard her say that she might sit out if the WNBA doesn't pay her what she deserves. I say $1 million for every missed layup is fair. Bang! They are stat petting queen properly. Fair wages for all. I repeat, fair wages. Remember, they're coming to see her. Long two, butter pecan.
Meanwhile, Angel Reese is still sitting there, trying to figure out why she wasn't named the most influential. Maybe if she spent more time refining her game and less time complaining on social media, she'd get the picture.
Her attention, her notoriety is based off Caitlin Clark. Because she wins the national title, first thing she does, she mocks Caitlin Clark. And then she doesn't even celebrate with her teammates. So she's made it personal with Caitlin Clark. Then she's played off of that.
Caitlin Clark's journey to these awards might seem like a foregone conclusion, but the real story goes much deeper. Remember Angel Reese? She was hyped up as Clark's biggest competition, with the media fueling a so-called rivalry between the two. It was framed as the ultimate showdown, a season-long battle that had fans glued to the drama. But let's be honest, was it ever really close?
He's the all-time greatest scorer in the history of college basketball, men's or women's. But passing like this, I'm talking about gifted LeBron-esque bounce passing. I'm talking about gifted LeBron-esque two-handed, full court, touchdown pass kind of passing. The likes of which I don't see in the WNBA.
From the very start, the media pushed the narrative of two rookies battling for WNBA supremacy. But as the season unfolded, the gap became glaringly obvious. This wasn't a showdown of equals. It was one player dominating the league, while the other spent more time in the headlines than on the stat sheets.
Ever happened to the WNBA? She's already the most exciting and entertaining player in the league, the entire league.
Then came Rookie of the Year and First Team All-WNBA, and that's when everything was laid bare. Clark didn't just win, she blew everyone out of the water. The so-called competition wasn't even close. And Reese, well, she wasn't exactly graceful in defeat. Instead of congratulating Clark, she took to social media, claiming Clark didn't deserve the honor. It's like losing a race by a mile and then demanding a recount.
Wilson is her name, quote, "It doesn't matter what we all do as black women, we're still going to be swept underneath the rug. That's why it boils my blood when people say it's not about race, because it is."
But here's the thing. Clark's success isn't just about awards or individual rivalries. She's not merely chasing trophies. She's transforming the entire WNBA. Her influence goes beyond basketball. She's growing the game, smashing attendance records, and attracting millions of new fans. Meanwhile, Reese is still trying to convince people that
22-year-old Caitlin Clark, who has single-handedly changed the game, brought in millions of other young fans, old fans. How about the ratings in college basketball for her? Record ratings. And now, in her very short WNBA career, shattering records. Isn't that a win for everybody?
That's not to say Reese hasn't contributed to the WNBA's rise. She's definitely keeping things interesting. But let's be honest. Clark is drawing fans because of her exceptional game, while Reese is gaining attention for everything but her skills. It's like watching two completely different paths to relevance, one built on greatness, the other fueled by controversy.
And why? Please stop. Let's celebrate Caitlin Clark, celebrate her greatness, celebrate her courage to keep pushing through.
But here's the bigger picture. Clark's Most Influential Athlete award isn't just another trophy. It's a turning point for the WNBA. She's not only breaking records, she's expanding the league's entire reach. People aren't just tuning in to watch her. They're watching women's basketball in numbers we've never seen before. Of course, not everyone's thrilled about Clark's rise. Some WNBA veterans and legends have pushed back, arguing that too much focus on one player could overshadow others. It's a fair concern, but let's be honest. Where was all this energy before Clark arrived? If the league wanted widespread attention, they had years to build it. Instead, it took Caitlin Clark walking in and flipping the script to elevate the WNBA to this level.